next comic coming on stage, you're gonna love him. Make some noise, Wilson McDermut.
Keep it going for Mark. So I'm also doing some online dating. I tried eHarmony. I was excited and hopeful about that. And then they matched me with my ex-wife. Awful, that's right. Speaking of social media, folks, what kind of world do we live in where you can meet a woman online, have sex with her on the first date, and then 2 days later she rejects your friend request on Facebook? You'd think the fact that we have 2 kids together is a good reason to accept my friend. So I have 2 kids. My son actually just got bar mitzvahed. Thank you. She comes from a long line of Jewish McDermuts. I don't know where he gets his confidence from. I don't know if you've ever been to a bar mitzvah. I've been to one, and the bar mitzvah boy apparently reads from the Torah and has to give a speech. Now, I would have been terrified to do this, but my son was so cocky, he was actually late for his own bar mitzvah. And when I asked him why, he said, "Dad, I was in the synagogue parking lot listening to Lil Wayne and macking on bitches." I understood him up to parking lot. So my daughter is 10. She recently asked me what a blowjob is. Exactly. Thank you. I was like, whoa! That's a question about sex. Maybe in a couple of years I'll tell you what it is, and don't bother asking your mother, because believe me, she has no idea. So, I realized that I can no longer wear sunglasses, because no matter what kind I try on, I look like a cop. You know, and depending on where you are in New York, people aren't always, very friendly, except on the Upper East Side, where I get free coffee in every bodega. But I correct them when they call me officer. I'm like, no, it's a detective. That way, upgrade to a cappuccino. So I'm actually a psychologist, and I'll tell you something, New York City is a very therapy-friendly city. Like, outside of New York, if you're in therapy, it's a stigma. In New York, if you are not in therapy, people are like, "What are you, nuts? What's wrong with you?" One of the first patients I ever had was hallucinating that he was covered with rats and mice. I did not know what to do, so I bought him a cat. There's a learning curve, that's what I'm trying to say. What else did I learn? When you have a patient with 8 personalities, if you bill each personality separately, that's called insurance fraud. Who knew? Don't tell your depressed patients that they're boring. Especially if they're also passive-aggressive. They'll take boring to the next level, and then when you fall asleep, they will ask for a refund. Here's something I learned. When you ask your patient how many sexual partners they've had, if their response is, "Do my victims count?" they're probably a sexual predator. So Sigmund Freud, this looks like an educated crowd. Sigmund Freud was the father of talk therapy. Now, a lot of people don't know Sigmund Freud was addicted to cigars and cocaine, and he was obsessed with sex. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is not the guy you go into therapy with. This is the guy you go to Atlantic City with. So, I think people should know how to spot a bad therapist. Okay, so I actually have a list of things that bad therapists say. If you ever hear a therapist say one of these things, get out, don't pay your bill. Enough about you, let's talk about me. I beg your pardon, no, I am not drunk. Tell me again about your girlfriend, because she sounds kind of hot. Here's a good one. And you're surprised your mother didn't love you? And my favorite, wah, 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 who hasn't been molested? All right.